Let me tell you something about yourself that you already know but have never been told. You are torn between yes and no, between trust and doubt, between love and anger, between moving forward and holding back. Part of you wants to meditate, part of you wants to stay in bed, part of you wants to open up, part of you wants to hide. You think this is your problem, your weakness, your failure. You think if you were more evolved, more spiritual, more together, you would not be divided like this. You would be one, clear, certain, whole. But let me tell you the truth. You are not divided because something is wrong with you. You are divided because you are human. Man is both yes and no. This is not abnormal. This is not a disease. This is the normal state of humanity. And it is also your greatest possibility. Friedrich Nietzsche says, man is a rope stretched between two infinities. The past is that of the animal, and the future is that of God. And between the two is man, half animal, half angel. The no comes from the past. The yes is the possibility for the future. Doubt comes from darkness. Trust is the byproduct of light. The higher self in you is always trusting. The lower self is cunning and is always doubting. And you are both, as you are now. Man is half earth, half sky, part matter, part consciousness, part dust, part divine. Man is a tension, and in this tension is both your agony and your ecstasy, both your misery and your bliss, both your bondage and your freedom. Now I want you to understand something crucial. What I am describing is not pathology. It is not sickness. This divided mind, this inner split, is the state of normal human beings. It starts looking like pathology only when it goes to the extreme. When the yes and no are so divided that there is not even a bridge between them, when they become unbridgeable, then it becomes pathological. Otherwise, every human being is always in a kind of duality, in a state of either or. No other animal is in that state. Dogs are simply dogs. Lions are lions. Trees are trees. Rocks are rocks. They don't have any duality. There is no division. Man is dual, double, divided. It is his misery, but it is also the possibility of his bliss. It is his agony. But out of this agony, ecstasy can be born. Think about it. No animal can be ecstatic except man. Have you seen any animal ecstatic? Ecstatic like a Buddha? Like a Ramakrishna? There is no possibility to come across an animal who is so ecstatic. Even the rose bush with so many beautiful flowers is not ecstatic in the sense Jesus is. The rose bush is simply a rose bush. There is no exuberance, there is no overflowing, there is no rejoicing. It is a matter of fact. Not that something incredible is happening, not that something from the beyond has descended, not that God has been realized. The bird on the wing is free, but the bird knows nothing about freedom. Only man, even though he may be imprisoned, knows about freedom. Hence the misery, the bondage on one hand, and the vision of freedom on the other. The reality, the ugly reality, and the tremendously luminous possibility. Man can be miserable as no other animal can ever be miserable. Have you seen any animal crying his heart out, weeping, committing suicide? Have you seen any animal laughing, a belly laughter that shakes the very foundations? No. All these things are possible only for man, hence the grandeur of man, hence his dignity, and hence his anxiety. The anxiety is whether you are going to make it or not, whether this time it is going to happen or not. The anxiety is the natural consequence of two diametrically opposite possibilities. One can fall into hell and one can rise into heaven. And man is just suspended between the two, like a tightrope walker. You move on this rope. One moment you are in heaven. Another moment you are in hell. One moment suddenly the sunlit peak. Another moment the darkest valley. One moment love, sharing, joy. Another moment anger, hatred. One moment such an expanded heart that you can contain the whole world. And another moment you are so mean that you cannot imagine you had this possibility. Man goes on moving between these two infinities continuously, like a pendulum. Left, right, yes, no, trust, doubt. This is not your personal problem. This is the human condition. Now the question becomes significant because it is everybody's question. It is far more existential. It is a problem. No answer can help. Some solution has to be searched for, and there are two possibilities for the solution. Either fall back and be satisfied with your animal nature, or jump forward and try to become only divine by suppressing your animal nature. Both are false solutions. Let me explain why. The first solution is what millions are trying to do: drink, eat, sleep, and forget all about the greater challenges of life. Eat, drink, be merry, because tomorrow you will be no more. That is what the materialist says. The materialist has accepted the lower self. He denies the higher self, just in sheer defense. He does not deny it because he knows that it is not there. No, he knows nothing about it. He denies it because if he does not deny it, then the either or opens up again. Again one is in trouble. Again something has to be done. Again the quest. Again the journey, the wandering, the uncertainty and the inconvenience and the insecurity of the journey. It is better to say that the higher does not exist, that there is no God, that there has never been any God, that there is no soul, that man has no interiority, that man is just what he is from the outside. But what happens to the materialist? He becomes dull, heavy. His life has no poetry, no music, no dance. His life becomes flat, horizontal, from birth to death, a straight line with no peaks, no valleys, no intensity, no passion. He exists but he does not live. And then there is the second solution, the so-called spiritual solution, the solution of suppression. Deny the animal, deny the body, deny the no, deny the doubt. Pretend you are all yes. Pretend you are all trust. Pretend you are only divine. This is what your religions have been teaching you for thousands of years. Be good, be nice, be positive, don't be angry. Don't be sexual, don't doubt, don't question, just believe, just trust, just say yes. And what happens? The no that you suppress does not disappear. It goes underground, into the unconscious, into the basement of your being, and there it grows, in darkness, like a monster, and it poisons everything. Your yes becomes fake, your trust becomes fake, your spirituality becomes fake, because underneath, the no is there, the doubt is there, the animal is there, waiting, growing, getting stronger, and one day it erupts. The saint becomes harsh and judgmental. The celibate starts living a double life. The spiritual teacher loses integrity, because you cannot suppress half of yourself forever. What you suppress, you strengthen. What you deny, you feed. What you push down comes back with vengeance. So these are the two false solutions. Fall back into animal unconsciousness, or jump forward into fake spirituality that suppresses the animal. Both fail. The first fails because you cannot become unconscious once you have tasted consciousness. The second fails because you cannot suppress the unconscious and expect to be whole. Don't choose a side. Learn the right tension. Let me give you examples of how both extremes play out in your daily life. Look at the materialist. He wakes up and immediately his mind is on survival. Money, security, status, comfort. He goes to work not because he loves his work, but because he needs money. His whole life is mechanical, functional. He looks at spiritual people and laughs. What fools they are, meditating, praying, seeking something that does not exist, but inside he is empty. Late at night, when everything is quiet, he knows it. There is no juice in his life, no magic, no wonder, just the same routine, day after day, until death comes. Now look at the spiritualist, the one who has denied his animal nature. He wakes up and immediately starts his spiritual practice. Meditation, prayer, affirmations. He smiles at everyone. He speaks softly. He is always calm, always peaceful, always positive. He never gets angry. He never doubts. He has risen above all that, or so he thinks. But watch him closely. His peace is forced. His smile is painted on. His calmness is covering something. And if you disturb him even a little, if you question his belief, if you challenge his practice, suddenly the volcano erupts. He becomes more angry than an ordinary person, more violent, more judgmental, because his spirituality is not real. It is suppression wearing spiritual clothes. I have seen this so many times. Spiritual seekers coming to me completely destroyed. They have been meditating for years, practicing compassion, forgiving everyone, serving others, but inside they are burning. Burning with rage, they are not allowed to feel. Burning with doubt, they are not allowed to express. And they think this burning means they are not spiritual enough, that they need to suppress more. But the more they suppress, the more they burn. So both extremes lead to the same place. The materialist has accepted only the lower. The spiritualist has accepted only the higher. Both are half. Both are crippled. So what is the solution? The real solution, the third way, let me tell you. And this is the most important thing I will say to you today. Don't choose a side. Learn the right tension. Use your no as the foundation for your yes. Let me explain what this means. Have you ever written with white chalk on a blackboard? Why white chalk? Why not white on white paper? Because only in contrast does the white show clearly. You need the black background to see the white writing. The blackboard is not the enemy of the writing. The blackboard is the very foundation that makes the writing visible. This is the secret. Your no is not the enemy of your yes. Your doubt is not the enemy of your trust. Your darkness is not the enemy of your light. Your animal nature is not the enemy of your divine nature. They are not antagonists. They are not at war. They are complementary. They create each other. They define each other. Without the blackboard, there is no visibility for the chalk. Without the no, there is no power in the yes. Let your no become the tension for the rest. Let your no become the background for the yes. Let your no create the context in which the yes will be more meaningful. In contrast, only meaning arises. Your trust should not be a blind trust. Your trust should be a trust which has eyes. Your trust should not be an impotent trust. A trust which is trust because you are impotent in saying no. Your trust should be alive, strong, vital. Your trust will be capable of saying no. Say yes and yet retain the capacity to say no. And then you will be surprised. Your yes has such sharpness, such brilliance, such intelligence. Then it is not blind, it has eyes to see. Use no as a foundation for yes. Use doubt as manure for the rose flower. Use everything that God has given to you. Nothing at all has to be denied, has to be destroyed, because nothing is unessential. Even though sometimes it looks harmful, poisonous, but it has not to be denied, because later on, as you will become wiser, you will need it in some situation. There are moments when doubt is needed as medicine. There are moments when just the touch of the wise man and doubt becomes nectar. I want you to become alchemists. This is an alchemical school, a university for inner alchemy. We are trying to change the base metal into gold. So remember, I accept your no too. I love your no too. I accept all that you are. You are accepted whatsoever you are. You are accepted in totality. From my side, there is no question of denying anything, but of transforming. Think of a sitar, the musical instrument. The strings are stretched between 2 points. If the strings are too loose, no music happens. If the strings are too tight, they will break. The musician has to find the right tension, not too loose, not too tight, just the right tension. And then, when he touches the strings, music is born. Divine music. Music that reaches to the heavens. This is what you have to learn. The right tension between your yes and your no, between your animal and your divine, between your doubt and your trust. Not too much to one side, not too much to the other, but the right balance, the right tension. And in that tension, life becomes music. Life becomes poetry. Life becomes celebration. Now let me show you how this works in your daily life, in practical terms. Because philosophy is beautiful, but unless it transforms your life, it is useless. You wake up in the morning, part of you wants to meditate, part of you wants to stay in bed. The old spiritual approach says, suppress the part that wants to stay in bed. Force yourself to meditate. Be disciplined. Control your laziness. But what happens? You sit in meditation, but your whole being is resisting. You are forcing, controlling, and your meditation becomes a prison, not a celebration. The materialist approach says, forget meditation. It is nonsense. Sleep is more practical. But what happens? You sleep, but you don't feel rested. You wake up feeling dull, empty, like life is passing you by. The third way, my way, says acknowledge both. Feel the part that wants to stay in bed. Don't suppress it. Don't judge it. Say, yes, I feel lazy. I feel resistance. This is my no. This is my animal nature. And then feel the part that wants to meditate. The longing for silence, for depth, for something beyond the mundane. This is my yes. This is my divine nature. And now, with full awareness of both, make a choice. Not from suppression, not from denial, but from awareness. Maybe today you choose to meditate, but you do it knowing your resistance is there, accepting it, not fighting it. And your meditation will be different. It will have a quality of relaxation, of allowance, because you are not at war with yourself. Or maybe today you choose to sleep, but you do it consciously, not collapsing into unconsciousness, but resting with awareness. Knowing this is what your body needs today. And your rest will be different. It will be rejuvenating, not just escape. This is the practice. In every moment, acknowledge both the yes and the no. Don't suppress either. Don't choose sides blindly, but be aware of both. And then let your awareness decide, not your conditioning, not your should, not your guilt, but your awareness, your intelligence, your inner guide. Another example, you are in a relationship. Part of you loves the person. Part of you is irritated by them. The old spiritual way says, suppress the irritation, be loving, be kind, always be positive. But what happens? you become fake. You smile, but inside you are screaming. And slowly the relationship dies because there is no truth in it. The materialist way says if you are irritated, leave. Relationships are complications. Better to be alone. But what happens? You become isolated, lonely, cut off from love, from intimacy, from connection. The third way says express both. Tell the person, I love you and I am also irritated by this thing you do. Not hiding the no, not hiding the yes, but showing both, being honest, being real. And in that honesty, real intimacy becomes possible. Not the fake intimacy of always being nice, but the real intimacy of being true. Or in your work, part of you wants to create something meaningful. Part of you wants security, money, comfort. The spiritual approach says, give up money. Money is materialistic. Follow your passion. But what happens? You become broke, resentful, unable to survive. The materialist approach says, forget passion. Be practical. Take any job that pays. But what happens? You become dead inside, just going through motions. The third way says, honor both. You need money, you need security. That is your animal nature. Accept it. And you also need meaning. You also need creative expression. That is your divine nature. Accept it. And then find the way to integrate both. Maybe you take a practical job, but you create on the side. Maybe you start small, building your creative work while maintaining security. Maybe you find a way to bring creativity into your practical work. There are 1,000 ways, but they all start with accepting both the yes and the no, both the practical and the passionate, both the animal and the divine. Don't choose a side. Learn the right tension. Now I want to explain something about the ego, because this is directly connected to your yes and no, your duality. Man has no center separate from the center of the whole. There is only one center in existence. The ancients used to call it Tao, Dharma, God. Those words have become old now. You can call it truth. There is only one center of existence. That one center is my center, your center, everybody's center. That one center does not mean that you are centerless. That one center simply means that you do not have a separate center. You can throw a pebble in a silent lake. One center arises by the fall of the pebble, and then many concentric circles. And they go on spreading to the farthest shore. Millions of concentric circles, but they all have one center. Each can claim this center as his own. And in a way it is his center, but it is not only his own. The ego arises with the claim that the center is mine, separate. It is not your center, it is my center, it is me. The idea of a separate center is the root of the ego. When the child is born, he comes without a center of his own. 9 months in the mother's womb, he functions with the mother's center as his center. He is not separate. Then he is born. then it is utilitarian to think of oneself as having a separate center. Otherwise, life will become very difficult, almost impossible to survive. And to struggle in the fight of life for survival, everybody needs a certain idea of who I am. And nobody has any idea. In fact, nobody can have any idea ever. Because at the deepest core, you are a mystery. You cannot have any idea of it. At the deepest core, you are not individual. You are universal. That's why if you ask Buddha, "Who are you?" he remains silent. He does not answer it. He cannot, because now he is no more separate. He is the whole. But in ordinary life, even Buddha has to use the word I. If he feels thirsty, he has to say, "I am thirsty. Ananda, bring me a little water." To be exactly true, he should say, "The universal center is a little thirsty," but that will look odd. So he continues to use the old, meaningful word I. It is very meaningful. A fiction, but meaningful. But many fictions are meaningful. For example, you have a name. That is a fiction. You did not come with a name. The name has been given to you. Then by constant repetition, you start becoming identified with it. It goes so deep that if you and 3,000 others fall asleep here and somebody comes and calls your name, nobody will hear except you. Even in your sleep, you know your name. It has reached to the unconscious. It has seeped through and through. But it is a fiction. But when I say it is a fiction, I don't mean it is unnecessary. It is a necessary fiction. It is useful. Let me tell you a story. A small child once wrote a letter to God. His mother was ill and the father had died and they had no money. So he asked God for 50 rupees. When the letter reached the post office, they were at a loss what to do with it, where to send it. It was simply addressed to God. So they opened it. They felt very sorry for the little boy, and they decided to collect some money and send it to the boy. They collected some money. He had asked for 50 rupees, but they could collect only 40. The next letter came, again addressed to God, and the boy had written, "Dear sir, please next time when you send the money, send it directly to me. Don't send it through the post office. They have taken their commission, 10 rupees. Names are needed for others to call you. I is needed for yourself to call you. But it is just a fiction. If you go deep into yourself, you will find the name has disappeared. The idea of I has disappeared, and there is left only a pure emness, isness, a vast being, and that being is not separate. It is not yours and mine. That being is the being of all. Rocks, rivers, mountains, trees, birds, animals, humans, all are included in it. This is what it means when I say you are both yes and no. Your yes is the recognition that at the deepest level there is no separation. Your no is the recognition that at the surface level there is separation. Both are true. Both are needed. The surface is needed to function in the world, The depth is needed to be connected with existence. Don't deny either. Live on both levels. Function with your name, your personality, your ego when needed. But remember always that this is just a useful fiction. And go deep again and again to the place where there is no name, no I, no separation, only pure being, only oneness. Use your no as the foundation for your yes. So where does this leave you right now, today? With your tornness, with your yes and no, with your animal and divine, I want to tell you something from my heart. You are accepted exactly as you are, with all your contradictions, with all your divisions. You don't have to fix yourself. You don't have to become only yes. You don't have to eliminate your no. You are perfect as you are. Imperfectly perfect, divided, yet whole. This is not a teaching about becoming something else. This is a teaching about accepting what you already are. And in that acceptance, transformation happens. When you stop fighting with yourself, when you stop denying half of yourself, energy is freed. You are no longer at war. And that peace, that wholeness, that comes from self-acceptance, that is transformation. You ask, but Osho, if I accept my doubt, won't it destroy my trust? No, your doubt will make your trust stronger. Real trust is not blind. Real trust has eyes. Real trust knows how to doubt and yet chooses to trust. That is real trust. Not the trust of a child who has never doubted, but the trust of a wise man who has doubted everything and still chooses to trust. That trust has power. That trust has depth. That trust cannot be shaken. You ask, but if I accept my animal nature, won't I become just animal? No. Acceptance is not indulgence. Acceptance is awareness. When you accept your anger, you don't become more angry. You become more aware of your anger. And in that awareness, the anger transforms. It becomes energy. Pure energy that you can use creatively. You ask, but if I don't suppress my no, how will my yes ever win? This is the beautiful paradox. When you stop suppressing your no, when you accept it and use it as foundation, your yes becomes powerful. Because now your yes is arising from full awareness of no, and yet choosing yes. That yes has authority. That yes has clarity. That yes transforms your life. I accept your no too. I love your no too. I accept all that you are. You are accepted in totality. From my side, there is no question of denying anything, but of transforming. And transformation does not happen by denial. Transformation happens by acceptance, by awareness, by bringing light to the dark corners. This is an alchemical school, a university for inner alchemy. We are not trying to throw away the base metal. We are trying to transform it into gold. And the secret of alchemy is not suppression. The secret is acceptance, love, awareness, totality. When you bring your total awareness to your base metal, to your animal nature, to your darkness, to your no, something magical happens. The base metal begins to shine. It begins to transform, not because you are forcing it, but because awareness itself is transformative. So go, live your life with this understanding. You are yes and no. You are animal and divine. You are darkness and light. You are tone, and that is perfectly okay. That toneness is not your problem. It is your richness. It is your depth. Live with the tension. Learn to love the tension. Learn to use the tension. Like a musician learns to use the right tension in the sitar strings. And one day, when you have learned the right tension, when you are no longer fighting with yourself, when you have accepted your totality, suddenly music will be born. Not the music of denial, not the music of suppression, but the music of integration, the music of wholeness, the music of transformation. And that music is what I call enlightenment. That music is what I call coming home. You are already home. You just don't know it yet because you are too busy fighting with yourself. Stop fighting. Accept. Love. Be aware. And let the transformation happen by itself. It will. Don't choose a side. Learn the right tension. Use your no as the foundation for your yes. This is my message to you. This is my blessing. This is the secret of transformation, not suppression, not indulgence, but awareness, acceptance, integration, alchemy. You are yes and no, and that is perfect, absolutely perfect. Accept it, celebrate it, and let the alchemy begin.